So finally, in this last lesson on working capital, as we go back to the very first lesson on working capital, we started by saying we really want to reduce how much working capital we want to hold, and we focused on some of the bigger components of working capital: cash, accounts receivable, and inventory, with an emphasis on minimizing how much cash we hold. Accounts receivable, we don't have a lot of accounts receivable, so we want to have a very aggressive collection process to convert that down to accounts receivable. Maybe we can do cash sales and not credit sales to get that down. And then inventory, we want to reduce inventory. Like we talked in the last lesson on ABC segmentation, to reduce inventory, get maybe the C items out of the inventory. So the whole goal here is to reduce the working capital so we can free up and use our resources and our money and our time to go after the longer term investments, marketing programs, innovation, new product testing, all the stuff that really truly is going to grow the business long term. We don't want to be spending all of our time and resources on the current stuff. We're trying to grow the business. So we want to reduce working capital, like we talked about those components. But overall, to reduce working capital, one of the things you really have to think about is reducing the cycle times to turn things around. So if you can deliver something then and there, immediately, without any cycle time, that's what you want to shoot for, if possible. Point of sale, POS, a point of sale transaction. So we don't want to have lots of cycle times in these handoffs with the players involved between suppliers, vendors, customers, manufacturers. So the more that we can reduce these cycle times and get it down to literally an environment where it's just in time inventory means the inventory is literally zero and we furnish it literally just in time as the customer needs it and demands it. So again, this gets also back to that point, we want a demand-driven system. So it's very demand-driven. If we can get to just-in-time inventory, that would be really what we want to do. Reduce cycle times in the supply chain, get to just-in-time delivery and inventory. And in some cases, that may require different players in the supply chain, vendors and shippers and people who work the warehouse. We may have to work some unusual shifts, maybe even run a 24/7 type of operation globally so that we can reduce cycle times and run just-in-time inventory so that we can reduce working capital. So this can be rather very challenging, but this is what the big companies like Campbell Soup and General Electric and other companies are starting to do. So if you want to grow a company, if you're a small company, you want to grow, you got to start thinking about the things that the big companies are doing to grow. So this is not going to go away. And obviously we did talk about supply chain management, SCM, earlier. So we would definitely want to have some type of supply chain management system in place to reduce working capital, because that will give us a point of sale system so that every supplier and vendor, everybody who is involved in that supply chain, knows when that point of sale takes place at the retail business. Kind of like Walmart. Walmart has an inventory system that's linked to all the suppliers and vendors so they can get out there quickly to restock the shelves in a just-in-time kind of environment. So that's the way you want to get, that's what you want to get to in the world of working capital management. Once again, take a look at the tab 3. There are some calculations on how to reduce cash and inventory in tab 3, as well as, again, the ABC segmentation. So make sure you go back and look at tab 3 in the workbook to go over how to manage and reduce working capital.